Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. If you are new here, my name is Monica. I like to post anti-MLM and some life content. In today's video, we are going to be discussing the MLM that is Pruvit. If you don't know what Pruvit is, if you see a bunch of all of this stuff about ketones and everything like that, that's Pruvit. Now, just as a disclaimer, this video is for entertainment purposes only and just based on my opinions. If I ever do say in my videos that I have a source or a link or anything, I always leave it in the description box below. But of course, I do encourage you to do your own research as well. I also just did want to make a quick mention. Thank you to all my new patrons on Patreon. If you did not know, I have a Patreon and I love all of the support that I get over there. And thank you so much for contributing to helping me basically keep going. I do eventually want to up the production, and unfortunately that sometimes costs a little bit of money. And I do spend a lot of time on these videos. I do a lot of research and I do spend a lot of time, so I do thank you all for your support. Even those of you who just watch my videos and just give it a nice little thumbs up, that does support me as well too, so thank you. I wanted to talk about a specific story that someone told me. Now, this person is in my anti-MLM group. She reached out to me privately, and just as a preface so you can kind of understand a little bit about her story, she was in the military and she no longer is in the military. She retired from the military. So of course, thank you so much for your service. But I wanted to say that only because I feel as though, and I don't know if this is a problem in just the US or if this is in other countries as well, but because most of you are in the US watching me, you let me know in the comments below. But I feel as though when anyone either comes back from deployment or is finally out of the military, I feel as though a lot of times there's no right transition period. In my personal opinion, I think that the military just throws everyone back into civilian lifestyle. When you're in the military, you have a specific lifestyle, you have a specific structure. And when you go from something like that and having, your group of people that you've either been deployed with or just your group of people that you're stationed with and stuff like that, when you go from something like that where it's kind of like family and you go into normal civilian everyday life, I think that the problem we have here is that there's no right way to transition, or there's no help out there on how to transition. And that's why I think that I'm going to call her Amanda. That's why I think that Amanda was easily targeted, because she was at a very vulnerable state, and I think that they probably saw that and saw that she wanted a community. She wanted that feeling of family again and that feeling of support. So here is Amanda's story. Where do I start? I don't know. I guess from the start. I fell in the trap, and I fully admit that now. I was at a very low point in my life, stuck in a position where I felt lost and was missing something. I used to have a tight-knit community that worked together, and then things changed drastically and I didn't know what to do. Also, major note here, before anyone says or thinks, have you been living under a rock? The answer to that is yes. I spent most of my life before this off social media and overseas, where I didn't really have access to much. So yes, I basically lived under a rock when it came to anything going on in the real world. Okay, so now that that's out of the way, let's move on. Fast forward to me dealing with depression and anxiety and feeling lost. Such a fun time in my life. In walked the opportunity. Well, first it was a curiosity on my part, and if I'm being honest here, this person was having the time of their life, or so it seemed on Facebook. She said she finally felt better and was feeling happier than ever. I wanted that. I wanted to feel better. I wanted to be in a good mood again, so desperately. So I reached out asking, what is this stuff you are taking? And that's where it all started. I tried the stuff, and damn it if it didn't work. I felt this little light go on, and I had energy and felt good. I had been big into nutrition for many years, 14 to be exact. Before this, due to a medical condition, that kind of forced me to figure things out and what would work for me. I was primarily paleo until I started researching keto and the science behind it. Did keto for a while, and it just didn't fit my lifestyle the way paleo did, so I started the whole mix and match paleo/keto thing. Basically making sure I got in plenty of healthy fats along with staying paleo. It worked great for me and my health. Back to the opportunity, this drink I tried was ketones, so it fit with my nutrition, made me feel better mentally, and gave me the benefits of ketosis without having to do crazy strict keto. Win, 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 right? That's what I thought too. So I tried it for 10 days, and the person I got it from asked if I would like to have a chat with them, and the person that introduced them to ketones and chat about going forward from here. Me over here thinking, sure, why not? I get on a video call with both of them, and they had such high energy and were so welcoming and saying things like, you are awesome, you would rock at this, you have so much knowledge already, it would be easy, we have an amazing group of people that support each other 100%, and so on. Let me remind you, I was in a very dark place and missing the tight-knit community I once had. The feeling of being welcomed into a team of people that would be so happy to have me was the nail in the coffin on this one. I get off this video chat after getting all of the info on how to start, all excited to have something new. I could help people and connect with people about health, nutrition, and fitness, which has always been a dream or a goal of mine. I have been working towards opening and running my own gym and working with athletes forever. This was a step in that direction. Again, so I thought. So I jump all over this opportunity, but once I bought in, nothing was as it was presented to me on that fateful video chat. I had never done this before. I didn't know what multi-level marketing was. Man, do I wish I knew then what I know now. Side note here. I have done so much research now that it's scary, and I wish I had done it before I ever asked about the ketones. But again, I lived under a rock until that point in my life. I never sold anything and didn't want to randomly ask people to buy stuff. So I asked, okay, what do I do? How do I do this? The automatic answer was always just be you and share your story. It is so easy. Just be positive and it will work. I don't know about you, but just being positive doesn't make things happen. But I wanted to be a part of this community so bad. To have a community again that I did things, but still wanted to know what to do. They always talked about money, make that money mindset, get that free car you always wanted. And in case you are wondering, it is not really a free car. It is a lease car that if you can't maintain selling and recruiting people at that level, the company doesn't pay for it anymore, but you are still on the hook for the payment because it's under your name. So on one hand, I am being told it's so easy to do, just share how they help you. And then on the other hand, being told you have to hustle, and pretty much work around the clock to really level up. Does that seem contradicting to you? Because it sure did to me. I would sit and listen to team training, which was still a lot of be positive, think positive, good vibes, and keep going. I would get off these trainings still as confused as I was before they started. I kept going because I'm stubborn and can't stand failure. Now you can see why she was easily targeted, because she was looking for that community. I have talked about the MLM sisterhood on this channel before, and I feel as though she was such an easy target. And I'm not saying that to be rude or mean or anything like that, but she really was. And they probably could sense that she needed that sisterhood, that she needed that community, and that's just Amanda's story. So I did want to share that before I got into the actual video, and I just want to say I'm sorry if you hear noises or see this thing moving, but my dogs are with me again today and they keep walking back and forth. So just want to put that out there. Fun fact, I just wanted to throw this in there because I thought this was kind of interesting. When I was researching Pruvit, I typed in Pruvit into the Google search bar, and I thought it was really interesting that the first thing that popped up was not the Pruvit website, but an ad for Pruvit that's on Amazon. And I wanted to talk about this real quick because I feel as though this is kind of taking away from the MLM reps that are really trying to work hard. And there's a reason why I'm telling you this. I think that if you are an MLM and if you are going to be telling your reps that they're not working hard enough or anything like that, you probably shouldn't be selling your product elsewhere and then taking away from your reps, because maybe that's just my personal opinion. Maybe it's just me, but just from an ex-Hunbot's perspective and seeing that that is the first thing that pops up is that Amazon pops up, not the actual website, but Amazon. I find that really just annoying and frustrating. Next fun fact. I decided, now I don't usually go on the Better Business Bureau. I do look into it a little bit, but I don't really, that's not like the first place that I look for these MLM companies or anything like that. I usually like to go to like the FTC's website or, you know, just take a look at if there's any lawsuits, that sort of thing. But what I found very interesting was that on the Better Business Bureau's website, Pruvit is on there, and they have an F rating. And the reason why they have an F rating is because of all of their complaints. Now, on this website, it also says that they've been in business for 5 years, which is important to remember for later on. But there is a current alerts for this business, pattern of complaints. On August 31st, 2018, BBB notified Pruvit Ventures Incorporated about a concerning pattern in consumer complaints regarding the company's marketplace practices. So I'll leave a link to that below. But, I mean, there's 72 complaints just on the Better Business Bureau's website. The next thing I kind of wanted to go over is a little bit about some of the founders and directors of the company, because I stumbled upon, I think it was MLMnewsreport.com or something like that. I will leave the link below, but I think that's what it was called. I came across, they actually did do an article about Pruvit. And I went into the founder and director section to kind of see a little bit about the background of the people who started the company. The reason why sometimes I like to do this, especially with the newer companies, is because I like to see if the founders or directors were part of other MLMs, or if they were CEOs or, you know, like the head honchos or whatever in a previous MLM, which if you watched my Ibarra video, the CEO of that company has dabbled a little bit in MLMs. But that's why I like to look into this, just to see, just out of curiosity. So there is the one founder or director. He did have other MLM involvements. The thing that I found interesting about him is he settled an SEC securities and fraud charge in 2008 when he was with another MLM, which I found very interesting. He was also sued by that MLM for breach of contract after he left the company and started another MLM. So, that's interesting. The next person, who was another founder, he was fined $150,000 by the FTC for helping operate an illegal Ponzi scheme through another MLM, and is currently under investigation by Truth in Advertising for making illegal health claims, which we will also get into a little bit. The compliance enforcement officer was, it's funny because on the website, the article says other MLM involvements, and then in a bullet point it says too many to count. But the next bullet point, it says fined by the SEC in 2013 for not disclosing his relationship with a Ponzi scheme whose founder was convicted of securities fraud last year by the SEC. And I'd have to double check, but last year, I have to double check when the article was written to actually see what the last year was. But I found those things kind of interesting. You let me know in the comments section below what you think about that. Now, going into that Truth in Advertising thing that was mentioned in one of the founders' information, apparently there were a lot of health claims that were being made and by one of the founders, and also there was a promo video that was also attached in the Truth in Advertising article. What I find interesting in that promo video is they talk about what keto, all of these different claims, these health claims of what keto can do, what it can help with, yada, yada, yada. And it goes into a lot of very interesting things, which kind of reminds me a little bit of what the Young Living Huns were doing and still continue to do. So I find it interesting that they had this whole promo about that. They even took a snippet of a TED Talks thing. I don't know if it was a doctor that has been involved with Pruvit or if it was just a doctor talking about keto. They even inserted a snippet from that particular TED Talks. And at the very, very, very end of the promo video, it goes through the entire promo video and then it kind of, fizzles out and fades out. With that being said, normally any normal person would think that's the end of the video. But I decided to have it keep playing because there were still several seconds that were left in the video. So I continued watching, and guess what I saw? It said at the very end that none of the things that were said in the video have been evaluated by the FDA yet. Okay, with the industry that I'm currently in, I have seen some of the most bizarre health claims that you can't say, because that is how people get sued. Now, of course, I'm not one of those people who agrees with everything that the FDA does. I'm not one of those people that all of the things that I use or eat or whatever have to be approved by the FDA. I'm not one of those people. So I don't agree 100% with everything has to be FDA approved. It's only legitimate if it's FDA approved. However, if you're going to be sitting there making crazy claims on this can cure this, and this, I do find an issue with that. Because like I said before, in the industry that I'm in, I have seen this happen so many times. I have had people tell me that, oh, thank you for giving me this information because so-and-so told me that it cures this. And it's like, you can't do that because, first of all, this is not a one-size-fits-all type of a thing. Of course, as usual, I'm not a health professional or anything like that, so do not take medical advice from me. But it does not work for everybody. Every single person is different. What works for me may not work for the person next to me because of whatever ailments we have or because of whatever health issues we both have. When it comes to keto, the research that I've done, of course, this is I'm not giving out any medical advice. But with keto, for some people, keto can actually do more harm than good. So of course, if you're going to sit there and say it cures this, it cures that, or claiming that it can help with certain things, you are not only possibly doing more harm than good, but you can also be giving people false hope. There are people out there who are at a complete loss, who are at their last resort, they don't know what to do, and they will believe anything. I'm not saying that they're gullible or anything like that, but they are vulnerable, and they are willing to try anything to feel better or to get through whatever ailment they have, whether it be a chronic illness or whether it just be a temporary one. So, in my personal opinion, I think that's wrong. Here's something that irks me a little bit. Pruvit has been in business for quite a number of years. Not a lot. They are, I guess, fairly new, but it's been more than a year. So, in my personal opinion, they should have some kind of income disclosure statement. But let's get into why I'm mentioning this, because on their website, they did say that because they have not been in business for long enough, they don't have enough statistical evidence of their income disclosure. So let me just read to you what is on their income disclosure page. The Pruvit compensation plan is an exciting opportunity that rewards you for selling products and services and for sponsoring other participants who do the same. Although the opportunity is unlimited, individual results will vary depending on commitment levels and sales skills of each participant. Since Pruvit has recently launched, it lacks enough statistical data to prepare reliable income disclosures. The numbers below reflect estimates prepared by the company pending a more detailed survey to be conducted after its first year. Based on industry standards and company projections, the average annual gross income for Pruvers is projected to be anywhere between $500 and $2,000. There will certainly be participants who will earn less while others will earn more. We're excited about the Pruvit compensation plan, and we're confident it will provide you a solid foundation to help you achieve your financial goals. Y'all, can you imagine making between $500 to $2,000 in 1 year? 1 year. And their least expensive challenge pack or starter pack is $396. You barely would make back, possibly, you would barely make back your initial investment if you purchased the first starter pack. And you would make that in a year? Like that, $2,000 in a year, and that's like the highest average. $2,000 in a year? Excuse me? As a side hustle? I think that's it's a little low. Now, because I started talking about the starter packs, I did want to go over them a little bit. There is a part at the bottom of the page for the starter packs where it says that you can become part of the team without purchasing a starter pack. Even though I don't think that you should have to pay in order to start. The one thing, and call me a hypocrite if you want, the one thing that kind of concerns me with this is, one, I haven't seen this with any other MLM so far that I've researched, but what kind of concerns me a little bit is if you are signing up as a distributor with no product, no nothing, I really hope that they're getting some kind of training without having to buy the starter pack, because I feel as though if you're going to be trying to sell a product, you need to have some kind of training. So I hope that these people aren't walking into it blindly, because they need some kind of training from uplines saying, hey, you know, this is what the product does, or whatever the case may be. I'm not saying that the uplines are right with what the product does, but I do think that there should be some kind of conversation between that and an upline. And let's be honest here, no upline is going to want you to sign up without paying for a starter pack, because they're not going to get any commission off of you buying that starter pack. Now, I don't know in Pruvit if they do get the commission off of the starter pack. The interesting thing about the starter packs is they range anywhere from $396 all the way up to almost $1,500. So the first starter pack is only $396. The second one is $792. And then the third one is $1,499. I do think that $1,500, that is a lot of money. I can't imagine spending $1,500 right now, let alone $396 for the first starter pack. I really can't see myself. I don't know. Like, I feel as though almost $400, let's just say $400, because that's how much it would cost with taxes and fees. It's going to be a little over $400. But right now, for me, spending $400 on something that I'm not sure of, where I'm being sold the dream and everything like that, I wouldn't spend that. I really wouldn't. $400 is a lot of money. I don't care if you're living paycheck to paycheck or if you're living comfortably. I mean, maybe to some people, you know, like the celebrities and stuff, $400 is literally like chump change. But like $400 to the average person, it's a lot of money. That's money that I would spend on groceries for more than just one visit to the grocery store. Like, that's money that I could put into actually eating healthy food and not taking these weird supplements that I know nothing about. And I highly doubt that the uplines know anything about it. I'm sure that they get fed the same narrative from the people at the top. And that's the issue that I have with these MLMs, is especially the health and fitness ones, which, and going back to me being in Beachbody, we are not certified to say certain things. There's no certification that you have to go through. And I feel as though if you're going to be giving out health and fitness advice, especially when it comes to dieting and food, I really think that that should be coming from a professional. And what I do also want to add to this little ramble at the end of the video, because this is the end of the video, but what I wanted to add to this too is I don't have any ill will towards these MLM Huns. And this is something that I've talked about in my anti-MLM group, where I've talked about, you know, I don't want the group to be like a Hun shaming group. That's not what I want it to be. I want it to be more of like an educational place, and a place where people who have stories or who want to vent about something, they can come to the group and they can say it there and be kept secretive, because the group is a private group. So I have nothing against the MLM Huns, because I was there at one point. I was them at one point. So I understand the thought process. I get it. Maybe not entirely, because I can never be as ruthless as some of these people can be and as petty as some of these people can be. But I know that most of the people in MLMs, they started off with good intentions. They didn't start off trying to, Lily, they didn't start off just, Lily is bumping into me with her cone. They didn't start off with bad intentions. I really don't think that all of them started off with bad intentions. And The issue that I have is with the people at the very top, the people who started the company, the founders, people like that. I don't have a problem with MLM reps. I don't agree with the structure, don't get me wrong. I know that some people just get sucked into it. I get it, they do. They get sucked into it, and it does have certain MLMs, from what I have been told and stories that have been told to me, they do have some very similar cult tactics to like it's scary how similar some of these things are. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to hit like, subscribe, support me on Patreon, check out my merch, all that great stuff. I'm gonna go take care of my dogs because Lily keeps on bumping into things with her cones. So this is Monica reporting to you live from a highway. Bye.